Well, it's a very warm welcome and thank you for joining us on this independent off-tube studio commentary. Our referee John Brooks at the GTech is just about ready to get this 4:30 kickoff underway, and it's Brentford against the Leeds United. Two sides down the bottom half of the league. I saw a few comments over the social media over the week saying, why is this game at the 4:30 kickoff? Well, there is a little bit of history between these two sides when they were both jostling to get into the Premier League about 5 years ago. And actually over the years, these two sides, when they meet in London, they tend to be pretty good games as well. So let's hope that continues this afternoon, as a long baller from a throw, as you would expect from Brentford, from Coyote, from the right-hand side, straight into the hands of Lucas Perry. It's myself, Paul Szczerbakowicz, and Kieran Graham taking you through the action. Kieran, we're hoping for a good game. I was suggesting there might be plenty of goals in it. I'll get your thoughts in a second, because Leeds are on the attack straight away here with the ball down the left-hand side in towards Noah Okafor. Couldn't quite continue his run into the box. But two sides that are better going forward than they are defensively, so hopefully we'll see a few goals.
Yeah, exactly. Brentford at home. It's really their home form that's keeping them that little bit further away from the relegation pack at the moment. Of course, a loss today might just drag them back into that conversation again, whereas Leeds' away form is what's really letting themselves down this season. So it will be interesting. Igor Thiago is getting in behind on the left. Of course, Leeds are coming off the back of two really impressive games against Liverpool and Chelsea, but like I said, they were both at home, so you've got to show it consistently. You've got to show it on the road as well, and these are the type of games you've got to get something from if you want to stay in the Premier League. And Brentford about to get a long throw in, and it's Coyote who, let's be honest, he's got probably the longest throw in the Premier League.
He does, yeah. It's been well documented that Brentford do employ the long throw, and Coyote is the main man with that weapon there from the left-hand side this time. And so we can see Brentford using the fact you can't be offside from a throw, that Collins is already on the line, but now he moves away. It's a long throw right towards the edge of the 6-yard box. Collins flicks it on. Ironically, because he was so far back, by the time he was trying to get into an onside position, his flick on just goes straight over the bar.
Yeah, I mean, that's a javel throw, isn't it, from Coyote? I mean, it's ridiculous. For some reason, it shocks me every time I see it, and I've seen it happen so many times. I think Leeds could struggle in moments like that, but they've got big players. It's a big team for Leeds. The three centre-halves have real stature. You've got Calvert-Lewin in there, Anton Stack, two giants as well, but they never seem aerially dominant, the Leeds, so it's quite a weird one. I guess the midfield battle is going to be so important today. We were just speaking off air, wasn't we, about it? Leeds' three in midfield, the three starting today, is definitely their best three. Paul, you were saying that the midfield of Brentford has been a little bit iffy as of late, so that could be where the game's won.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Brentford have always got a goal to concede in them. They've never been a particularly strong defensive side. That was the case under Thomas Frank as well. But with that midfield three sort of chopping and changing all season, they started with Damskar. They had a little go with Milamba before he got injured. Fabio Carvalho's out for the season as well. So now Matthias Jensen starts in that attacking midfield role with Henderson and Yano as the two defensive. I'll go through the 2-11s in just a moment. We'll just see out this bit of possession for Brentford. It's Jensen hooking a high ball up in the air. Then it's hooked even higher in the air by Dango. I'm not really sure what he was trying to do there, but it goes out for a throw to Leeds. So Brentford have Quayman Kelleher in goal, a back four of Michael Coyote, Nathan Collins, Sepp Vandenberg and Aaron Hickey. Jordan Henderson and Visali Yano are the holding midfielders, with Dango Atara, Matthias Jensen and Keane Lewis Potter as the attacking three, playing behind Igor Thiago. For Leeds, it's Lucas Perry in goal, a back three of Joe Rodon, Jacobillo and Pascal Strauch. Then it's Jaden Bogle and Gabriel Goodmanson as the two wide men, with Anton Stack, Ethan Ampadu and Ayo Tanaka as the three in midfield. Noah Okafor and Dominic Calvert-Lewin are the two up front. A free kick to Brentford, taken quickly, a ball over the top, and it was a good idea to play in Lewis Potter, just a little bit too quick in the end, and Lucas Perry comes out and makes a decent save. But we were mentioning how Brentford are top three, top four when it comes to their home form. They're bottom three when it comes to their away form, and they're joined in that bottom three by Leeds, who haven't really got going away from home yet this season.
No, they haven't, and Daniel Farke, he's been getting it wrong on the road in terms of the actual approach to certain games. This is the first time we're going to see Leeds start with the three at the back away from home, so that could be very telling. Let's see if it works that little bit differently for them. And Brentford will know about the form of Leeds on the road. They'll know that they can absolutely get at them. The goalkeeper for Leeds has mistakes, and even that is for sure. And likewise with Kelleher at the other end, he's made his mistakes this season as well. So yeah, for that reason, as much as we look at it as, I mean, there's a lot of defensive players on the pitch, a lot of defensive-minded players on the pitch, it could lead to an open game of football.
Let's hope so, because the early stages, it's more of the ball for Brentford. Leeds have had a couple of little forays forward, but not really been able to do anything other than that quick run from Okafor. Brentford just keeping the ball inside their own half now. It's played back towards Kelleher. Now it's Coyote, just a little bit of heavy touch there, but he still keeps it away from Goodmanson. And then Henderson tries the ball over the top, which is headed down, gets away from Strauch, and Otara now has a chance, but he runs into trouble. 3 Leeds players around him, so he's not going to be able to get that. And then he charges into Gabriel Goodmanson. That was a reckless one there from Gdango Otara, and Goodmanson is still down on the ground, really thumping the turf in frustration and in pain there as well. See that again. He jars into Goodmanson. I don't think there's too much sort of aggressive intent there from Otara, but it's clumsy and it looks like quite a painful one.
Yeah, it is a painful one for Gabby Goodmanson, and he's going to get back to his feet now. He's been a really good signing for Leeds. I mean, the pace that he shows on the left-hand side, he's a great defender, great going forwards, and the wing-back role suits him. He looked good as a left-back in the back four. Over the last couple of games, he looked brilliant. He was the player of the match week from the official Premier League, almost social media standings, from the game that they played against Chelsea last week, midweek, where they won 3-1. He's just been that effective in the role. He's back to his feet now, and Tanaka's in possession.
Yeah, Leeds are in possession, pushing forward down the right-hand side. Nice bit of link-up play, but it looks like just as they were getting going, Joe Rodon actually first surged forward there to take the ball off the overlap, but there was actually a ball out of play, just out for a throw for Brentford here on the left-hand side, which Aaron Hickey will take here for the Bees. Just to remind you very quickly of the 2 p.m. Results in the Premier League. It finished Crystal Palace 0, Man City 3, Nottingham Forest 3, Tottenham 0, Sunderland 1, Newcastle 0, and West Ham 2, Aston Villa 3. So those are all the results in the Premier League earlier today. There's still plenty more to come on our service in the next week, with games tomorrow, and then all the cup action coming up on Tuesday and Wednesday, and then the final Europa League games on Thursday, before we hit the sort of Christmas programme proper from next Saturday. But the ball now in midfield, a nice bit of control there from Stack, just rolling it back towards Lucas Perry. And the goalkeeper playing this one back towards Pascal Strauch, one of the more longer serving players in this Leeds squad now. Laid back to the goalkeeper again. Jensen closing down, but Perry with enough time to clear that one towards the half line, headed forward here by Collins. And this is where Brentford, I think, could become unstuck against Leeds. They do like to play high up the field when they're trying to push forward, when they're in possession. But Brentford, they do lose the ball in possession, so that's where Leeds with their pace can try and exploit it. It's just a case of picking that ball off.
Yeah, it is, and that's where I guess Okafor is going to be more important. If Lucas Mecha was fit today, I'm sure he would have started instead of Okafor. Stack's starting to grow into this one a little bit more, and he's just done brilliantly to get away. Here come Leeds. Yeah, they do. It's a nice bit of link-up play there with Stack and Okafor. It's over towards Goodmanson. He lifts the ball into the penalty area. Didn't really look up to see where his teammates were, and that one is hooked clear by Hickey. It's then flicked up by Otara, trying to be a little bit too elaborate there. Tanaka able to win that ball back, and then it's Strauch back here for Leeds, just clipping that one over the top here for Stack. He's onside, and he goes for goal as well. It's into the feet of Collins, just at the edge of the area. Goodmanson wins it back though for Leeds, and the visitors enjoying a nice spell of possession here over on the right hand side now with Jayden Bogle. He tries an early ball into the box and he finds Calvert-Lewin. Calvert-Lewin cuts that across the 6-yard box, but Okafor went towards the near post. If he'd have just stayed central, then he would have had a tap in. Yeah, maybe Calvert-Lewin needs to look up and see the movement from Okafor, because I don't mind the pull-back run. I think Calvert-Lewin just gambled and just he's almost crossed it into the area where he'd think he'd be running into, which maybe he should, but Okafor, I think, makes a great run. The ball from Bogle in behind on his weaker left foot is unbelievable.
It's a great ball from Bogle, but then, I mean, Vandenberg, there's no movement from him there whatsoever. I mean, there's no attempt to play Calvert-Lewin offside, and then there's no attempt to really get after the ball until it's already too late. So that's certainly something that Leeds will try and exploit if Vandenberg's going to be doing that time and again. Another ball played to the Brentford penalty area, hooked clear by Collins, and then it's a long ball over the top here from Henderson, which will be chased by Igor Thiago. The flag stays down for the time being. Thiago does well just to shepherd that away from Bio, and then he plays it back to Henderson again. Here is Coyote now on the right hand side, looking up at options in the penalty area. Doesn't fancy the long cross on this occasion. He goes back towards Janel on the halfway line. Now it's Collins over towards the left hand side. Visitors now just sat back inside their own half, but they're not sat too deep. And at the same time, they are giving Brentford a bit of... I think from Leeds' point of view, if they were to sit very high up, then that would encourage a potential long ball, and there's a bit of pace as well with someone like Otara. So they want to try and actually be ready for anything that Brentford do. But now it's Collins who's gone on the run. He's gone on an overlap here for Otara, who's trying to get away from Goodmanson. He runs into him twice. Goodmanson with 2 good challenges and a sweeping clearance there from Strauch up towards the halfway line. But Henderson will be there and is able to get there to get the ball back towards Vandenberg just before Calvert-Lewin was able to intercept. And here comes Vandenberg now down the left-hand side for Brentford. Finds Keane Lewis Potter. There's an overlap from Hickey, but Lewis Potter just going back in towards Janelt. Lewis Potter again towards Vandenberg. Vandenberg had a couple of options, but Leeds are keeping those 2 banks of 4, particularly across the middle, making it very difficult here for Brentford to find any easy route to goal. To Vandenberg again. Now Collins. This is turning into a bit of a pattern now in this last minute or so. No real options here for Brentford to actually attack this Leeds penalty. As now Henderson ranges forward himself. He finds Lewis Potter getting towards the edge of the area now. Lewis Potter, short ball in towards Henderson. Jensen now just turning away and finding Coyote, who should have taken that on really and tried to run into the box, but he leaves it for Otara. He then puts a cross in, which is headed up in the air by Stack. Second ball there, easily cleared by Leeds, back into midfield. And then it's Collins with a header before Janelt hooks a high ball all the way back towards Keller, who's wandered a long way out from his own goal. Very long way out. He's pretty much on the halfway. I don't know if you saw it in the game yesterday between Arsenal and Wolves. After an Arsenal corner, David Raya wandered into the Wolves half and played a ball back in towards the penalty area. He was that confident. It wasn't even like a free kick or anything. He just, in open play, he actually managed to get into the opposition's half, which I don't think I've seen that ever, to be quite honest.
No, that's the first I've heard of that. I didn't catch the game last night, but yeah, David Raya, if there's ever a goalkeeper to be confident enough to do that, it probably would be him. And if there's ever a time where you're probably going to get away with it, it's at home to Wolves.
It is, although in the end the Wolves actually made up a much better fight in that game than what people were expecting. I think most people thought it was going to be an evening where Gyökeres is finally going to get a hat-trick for Arsenal or something like that, and in the end Arsenal were lucky just to win the game in the last minute with 2 own goals from Wolves getting it over the line for Arsenal. Long ball towards Igor Thiago. Just falls to the ground. I think he was hoping for a free kick rather than expecting one, because there didn't seem to be much of a foul there, or any foul at all from Biol. And it's with Strauch now. Short ball in towards Ampadu. Just inside his own half. Laying it back towards Rodon. Under pressure there, going all the way back towards the goalkeeper Lucas Perry. But no real efforts on goal either way. There was that one ball across from Calvert-Lewin. But it's been a sort of fairly steady start, but both teams are trying to get into it.
Yeah, Leeds had a really good 5 minutes, didn't they, from like the 5 to 10 minute period. Brentford haven't had that sort of period as of yet. Jim Bogle's put a ball into the area. It's deflected, almost fell for Tanaka at the back post. Brentford can finally clear their lines, but there's danger down that right flank when Leeds are going forward. There always is with Jayden Bogle. He's more attacking minded. Brentford still yet to get going, really.
No, and they've given the ball away inside their own half. It's been capitalised on by Stack. He then finds Bogle. Bogle with the ball down the right channel. Stack carried on his own. He cuts that back into the 6-yard box. It's cut out well though by Vandenberg, and Stack will just let that roll out for the first corner kick of the afternoon. So this has been a good steady start from Leeds, and they're starting to get to some proper inroads into the Brentford penalty area now. Wait and see what they want to do with this set piece.
Yeah, and when the wing-backs are getting it for Leeds, the movement of Calvert-Lewin and Okafor is causing quite a few problems at the moment for Brentford. Calvert-Lewin, I don't think I've ever seen him make so many in-behind runs than what he has already. Corner whipped in.
Yeah, it's an out-swinging ball. Good header away by Collins. Then Jensen's on the second ball. He gets away from Tanaka, but then he needs somebody to go up there with him. He's not got much pace on him as Matthias Jensen, but he's got a good drop of the shoulder. Gets away from 2 Leeds players, and he spreads the play out towards the right-hand side. And here's Henderson at the edge of the area, and he's got an overlap here from Coyote. Coyote's ball into the box is a very, very disappointing anti-climax, considering that build-up from Brentford. And then he can apologise now, Coyote, but really the bulk of the work they're gone from Brentford's veteran there, Matthias Jensen.
Yeah, brilliant from the Danish midfielder. He was all on his own, up against 5 blue shirts, and he put it through Tanaka's legs, picked the pass, couldn't have done any better. Jensen in that situation. Unfortunately, poor cross.
Yeah, I mean, Coyote really couldn't have done any worse with that. I mean, he should have just put his head down and just laced it across the 6-yard box. He would have had more chance of getting some joy than just that very sort of tame ball, which was catching practice in the end for Lucas Perry. But just over 14 minutes on the clock, unofficial independent off-tube studio commentary on the game at the GTech, where it's goalless between Brentford and Leeds United, but it's been a lively 0-0 so far. Both sides know that they can test their opposition's defence. Just a case of how they do that, and Leeds are now starting to send more and more players forward as Brentford try and play out from the back, but on this occasion the Bees are able to address that quite comfortably, and here's Vandenberg bringing the ball forward. Leaves it here for Jensen. Hickey's gone just ahead of him. Lewis Potter is out wide on the left hand side. That's where the ball has gone. He's under pressure here from Bogle. Hickey back towards Keane, Lewis Potter. Jensen miscontrols it this time, but still has the ball for Brentford here on the left hand side. It's just Igor Thiago waiting at the edge of the area. Hasn't got anybody else up there with him. Coyote's here on the right hand side. Otara is even further out wide. That's where the ball has gone now. Otara running into trouble. Still able to get back towards Coyote. Now it's with Nathan Collins. As we say, Leeds with that fantastic win against Chelsea and that draw against Liverpool as well. Those are two big results, really, just to sort of kick-start Leeds' season. After it started well, then it sort of started to dip a little bit. Brentford have had a little dip themselves recently. They're trying to get on the attack now as this ball comes in from Hickey. But a good header away before it even reached Igor Thiago. Then a nice little drop of the shoulder from Bogle. He's able to get away from one man, but not the next. And now Jensen wins it back for Brentford, puts the ball into the box. It's a good, strong header away, though, by Pascal Strauch. And then a second clearance from Goodmanson up towards Okafor, who's immediately got Coyote on his back, and he's still able to get this ball back towards Ampadu. And there's a confidence about the way Leeds are playing out from their own half, which certainly is going to be essential if they're going to try and attack Brentford time and again. But just as I say that, Ampadu is caught in his own half and it's out for a throw, which has actually been given as a throw to Brentford as well.
Yeah, he's missed a good chance there, Ethan Ampadu. He picked the ball up after some lovely football from his teammates, and there was a great run down the left hand side that he just didn't have the confidence on his left foot to actually play it. Brentford nipped in and win throwing, and Coyote looked like everyone was getting set for the long throw, and it's pushed Leeds so deep that even Calvert-Lewin was in his own box. Really,
he was, yeah. That is a little sort of variation that Brentford use occasionally, where you would assume Coyote is always going to launch along, but occasionally he will just throw it short, and then a teammate might try and cross it. Or on this occasion, Brentford haven't crossed it at all. They're just quite happy to keep possession in midfield. In fact, they've gone back into their own half now here with Sepp Vandenberg. He's complaining to the referee, I think, that the ball has gone flat. So John Brooks will check, and I think the referee agrees. We're going to have to get another match ball. It shouldn't be an issue, of course, these days. There should be about 20 of them on all sides of the pitch, but it's just going to be a quick drop ball now to Brentford on the halfway line. And as I say, everyone's doing the same thing, just pressing the ball to confirm that it's a little bit softer than what it should be. But it's now back with Vandenberg, and Collins over to Coyote towards the Brentford club captain. See, Leeds now just starting to play a little bit higher as well. I noticed in the first few minutes they were sitting a bit deep, and now they are trying to just congest their half of the field. It may well be a planned tactic here, just as the half progresses, just to make it that little bit less comfortable for Brentford to be on the ball. Yeah,
exactly. And the three central midfielders, that's their job really for Leeds. I think Stack's had a really good start. Tanaka not necessarily, Ampadu a bit more quiet, but John Henderson, Janel, you know what they're going to give you in the midfield for Brentford. Brentford want to get it into the wide areas, into the likes of Dango Ouattara as well. He's had his moments so far. He's not been heavily involved, but I think he could be their main threat today for Brentford. And if he's creating chances for Igor Thiago with the form that the Brazilian's on, you'd expect him to take them.
Absolutely, he wants to get into the box. Dango Ouattara. Henderson's got forward this time, chasing a long ball, which Strauch will cut out. He then clears it, but he clears it straight towards Coyote. Coyote then plays it back to Henderson, who stayed on that right-hand side. Henderson's ball into the box, the charge down by the back of Goodmanson. It's then back to Coyote. His ball is lifted too high, and the quality of crossing from Brentford so far in this game leaves a lot to be desired. But Lucas Perry catches that, bowls it out quickly, but then Bogle... Well, he was getting praise earlier from my colleague, but on that occasion, is that Perry's throw too quick, or should Bogle just be controlling that?
No, that's really poor from Lucas Perry. Jaden Bogle can't actually catch it up. The ball's going out of play. He's on full stretch. It's such a simple throw from Lucas Perry, and they would have been well away on the counter-attack, and just rolls it, and he just hammers it for no real reason, way too much. He's known for it, especially from his time in Brazil and Lyon. Lucas Perry, he's got a hammer of a throw. I mean, it's unbelievable that the throw he's got. He can throw it from one end to the other goalkeeper if he really wanted to, but yeah, that occasion just way too much, and it was just sloppy from Leeds.
Yeah, you've got to be able to control that kind of power, because obviously most of the time it's not going to need to throw it that far. It's all about being accurate and getting it maybe 20-30 yards, because a goalkeeper releasing the ball quickly is a really effective weapon to try and hit other teams on the counter, that's for sure. The game just slowing down a little bit now. It had a sort of promising start with both teams trying to have little forays going forward, but now it just seems to have slowed down a little bit. Brentford seeing more of the ball, but not really doing too much with it. A long ball up from Koyman Kelleher. It was headed down by Thiago. Then there's a bit of a collision in midfield. I think it's Ampadu that's come off worst off there, but he's just picked himself up now. It's out for a throw to Leeds on the left-hand side. Goodmanson waiting to take it. Just hasn't got anybody for the short throw just now. Possession in the last 10 minutes, 82 to 18% in favour of Brentford. But I don't think Daniel Farke will worry too much about that, because in that time, Lucas Perry's had to catch 2 weak crosses, and that's it. And in the meantime, there's been a strong challenge here on Anton Stack as well.
Yeah, they'll have to hope that he's okay, because he's been the best player on the pitch so far. He's been everywhere, the German. But yeah, Brentford, a lot of the ball, nothing really. I don't really know if there's much of a foul actually. I think Stack maybe just kicks him as much as anything else. I mean,
the boot's raised from Jensen, but there is intent to win the ball. I don't think there's any intent to kick the man, and certainly looking at the two benches when that challenge happens, the two managers in unison putting their arms up saying it's our ball, it's our free kick. It just goes to show how subjective football can be, and there are so many little grey areas where you can't always say for definite that it's gone this way or the other. You could probably find an argument for either. It was given as a free kick to Leeds. I don't think that's the right decision, but there definitely wasn't anything there for a yellow card for Jensen anyway. It's now back with Lucas Perry, who uses his foot this time to clear it long over the halfway line. Calvert-Lewin almost dummies that towards Okafor, but he can't control it. It's now hooked up in the air by Henderson. Then there's a collision in midfield, but the referee says play on, and it's hooked over towards the right-hand side here for Dango Otara. He runs straight into Pascal Strauch, who then runs the ball out for a throw. So Brentford are going to get a chance to throw this in, but in the meantime, Ampadu's down around about the halfway line.
Yeah, that was so poor from Leeds. You had Ampadu backpedaling and Bijol going for the same ball, and Bijol's just wiped out Ampadu. I don't think Ampadu needs to be going for that. Once again, I don't know if that's a lack of confidence in the man behind him, lack of communication, but he doesn't need to be tracking back to that, and I think Bijol does his job fine.
I think he does, yeah. I agree. I think it was option B from what you said there, that it was just no communication. I think Bijol needs to shout to Ampadu, this is my ball, or Ampadu maybe just has to have a quick look behind him to see where his teammate is, but the end result is that Strauch just cleared it anywhere, and it's actually gone for a throw which is level with the edge of the penalty area. So this time there won't be any deception from Michael Coyote. This is going to be a long ball launched into the Leeds penalty area. Thiago there jostling for position. Coyote's ball into the 6-yard box. It's headed up in the air, still inside the penalty. Vandenberg then heads it across, but it's Okafor with the header. Jensen then tries to go for goal. It's the pinball inside the penalty area before it's finally hooked clear and up towards the halfway line. Okafor gets a touch, but then he can't find a teammate with it. Jensen has it back for Brentford. About 45 yards from Leeds, the Leeds goal at this stage. He plays it square to Aaron Hickey. Hickey lifts it into the box. Good header away. It's a very confident header away there from Rodon. Second ball now out towards the left-hand side. But Calvert-Lewin, who treads on that one, toe ends it out for a throw in a slightly unexpected moment there. I think Brentford were a bit concerned there might be a counter for Leeds, but it's out for a throw here on the right-hand side. We're over the halfway mark in this first half. 23 minutes gone. It is Brentford 0, Leeds 0, and it will be Kieran to take us through to half-time. Yeah,
thank you very much, Paul. As Brentford are in possession now, that wasn't his finest moment. Calvert-Lewin there, moving towards the left wing almost in that scenario, but took a really heavy touch, went out for a throw. Brentford still on the ball, clip ball in behind. Pascal Strauch heads away, but only as far as Coyote, who finds Collins. Brentford certainly finding a little bit of dominance in this one now, as we now see the Italian fullback in possession again. Goes across to Vandenberg. Now it's going to be with Hickey, who has Jensen for company, but goes back for Jordan Henderson, who's It's just playmaking in the middle of the centre halves at the moment. Ouattara down the right-hand side. He cuts inside, then back onto his right, and then back onto his left. Lovely play from him. Opens it up. I think I don't know if that's a bit of a cross-come shot, really, and it's well dealt with by Perry.
Yeah, in the end, it did look like neither, because it wasn't strong enough to be a good shot, and it was too low to be a good cross. So in the end, it was a pretty easy save for Lucas Perry.
Yeah, really easy save in the end. Ball down the line for Anton Stack, who got there, played it off Coyote, and it went in behind. Them little promising moments where Leeds get into the wide areas, find a bit of space. You just it then takes that one extra pass, and they've unlocked Brentford, but they're just not getting that extra pass. We saw it once in the opening 10 minutes, but the promising signs are there. It's just the execution's lacking. It is.
I think that the tactic, the formation of Leeds, I think has something to do with it, because they have got the three at the back, then they've got the three in the middle, and it's expected that Goodmanson and Bogle are just going to have to run down those channels to make up for defence and attack at the same time. But if there is going to be a moment where Goodmanson or Bogle can go on that overlap, then Leeds will have that extra pass, and then they really can unlock Brentford then.
Yeah, they can. Long ball up towards Thiago. Bijol's going with him, but Thiago does pretty well in that moment. As we now see a turn from Ouattara. He's then going to play it towards the left-hand side of Vandenberg, who's waiting for the ball to meet him rather than meeting the ball himself. Almost got caught by Calvert-Lewin. Good pressure from Bogle on Lewis Potter. We've not said his name yet really in this one. He then goes down. There didn't seem to be much in that, but free kick has been given in the end. The referee's going to have a word with Bogle, and Ethan Ampadu goes across as well, but it's a cheap free kick to give away though.
I mean, just lip reading what Ampadu says there. Why is that a foul? Referee just explains to him, and then the next word is because I don't think it is, and I can completely understand why Ampadu would feel that way, because it was just a bit of contact, and then it's the way that Lewis Potter fell, I think, that convinced the referee. From Brentford's point of view, they were getting stuck on that left wing anyway, so they'll probably be quite happy to have the free kick.
Yeah, they definitely will be. Set pieces, such a big part of Brentford's game, of course, because we're just awaiting for this free kick to be taken now. Italiano and Jordan Henderson are the players stood over this one, ready to whip it in. It's a two-man wall for Leeds. I guess that's just in case of them going short, really, so it's not left in a 2v1 situation. It's going to be whipped in by Vitali Janel. Not a great delivery, straight to the front of the penalty area, headed away by Bogle, but possession is back with the Bees. Look long once again in behind. That's over hit and out for a goal kick. Attacking wise so far for both sides, pretty sloppy.
Yeah, it's been sloppy. Leeds haven't had enough of the ball, and on the few occasions they've had it, they've maybe not used it well enough. Brentford have certainly had enough of the ball, but they've definitely not used it well enough. The quality of crosses, we've seen two disappointing balls in from Ouattara from the right-hand side. We just saw a very flat and low free kick from Janel that was at least 10 yards short of where it needed to be, and then a hopeful ball from Henderson just goes straight out for a goal kick. So both sides can certainly improve in the final third.
Yeah, they absolutely can, as we now just see Leeds looking to come forwards. Now Roquefort with a chance into the penalty area, onto his left foot. Now Roquefort goes for goal. It's a big save from Creeman Kelleher. Had to make it, and Roquefort, I guess the only problem for him there was he was at too tight of an angle to really generate a proper strike. What a ball that is from Jordan Henderson to the left-hand side on the counter for Brentford. Lewis Potter cuts inside, hangs it towards the back post, looking for Ouattara, who does get there. He does well to keep it alive for Coyote, but end-to-end moments here. Coyote ball into the area is not a great one off the back of Stack, but big chance for Okafor.
Big chance for Okafor, and that all came from Brentford giving the ball away in midfield. It's on the halfway line. It's a header forward from Vandenberg, and all of a sudden, it's just, I mean, what on earth is Vianel doing there? He's stabbing the ball back at pace towards his own penalty area, and it ends up being a perfect through ball for an opposition striker. Yeah,
and Okafor, I mean, probably in an area he's quite used to being in. You'd maybe back him. He should have gone more low. I mean, it's obvious to say that now, but he made it easy for the goalkeeper. He put it at a decent height. It had to go across the first goal hard and low. Coyote with another long throw, well headed away. Leeds dealing with the long throws as well so far. Now it's back out with Coyote on the right hand side. He lays it off for Henderson. First time ball hung up towards the back post. There's Joe Rodon with the header away. Tanaka is trying to press Jensen, struggling to get involved is the Japanese international. Long ball is easily taken by Perry, who's going to look to get Leeds underway with the ball forwards. Once again, just completely overhit. You're just gifting Brentford the ball back. Leeds haven't had a lot of the ball. That's a moment where you can just chill out a bit.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's that difficult balance for Lucas Perry when he gets the ball and he sees Calvert-Lewin or Okafor moving forward. well, he thinks there's a good chance I could get the ball to them. But then if it doesn't reach them, then it's another moment where Leeds could have kept a bit of possession and got into a bit of a rhythm, and they just lost the ball again. So, yeah, it's a little bit... I mean, it's entertaining to see because it's very tense, but it's a little bit chaotic, I think. It both managers, certainly the sort of the tactical side, I think they'd be a little bit frustrated at the moment.
Yeah, as we now see Coyote coming forward, he cuts inside and looks to come away from Stack, plays a nice ball in towards Hickey. On the left hand side for Lewis Potter, who's going to have a drive at Jaden Bogle into the penalty area, and Bogle's letting him run in, but it's good defending in the end. Great footing. Tanaka then gets there. Could have gone down in that scenario, Tanaka, but he didn't. So now free kick. Janel in possession, goes back towards Vandenberg as we approach the half-hour mark of this one. Still 0-0 between Brentford and Leeds. That's Coyote into Jordan Henderson. He finds Witara once more, touches it round Goodmanson, but there's Pascal Strauch to get the foot in. Nice defending from him. Didn't go out of play according to the linesman, but the forward ball is straight back to Brentford, who are dominating the ball at the moment.
They are dominating the ball, but from their point of view, I think they should be a little bit worried that they can't do more with it, and that's partly down to Brentford perhaps lacking a bit of creativity, but also you've got to say Leeds are very well organised in their fight, in their defensive third. They're not giving Brentford any loose change at all at the moment.
Yeah, they are well organised. Pascal Strauch's having an important game at the back as well. Him and Anton Stack on the left hand side of the field in terms of left centre half, left centre mid, have probably been Leeds' best players, whereas Brentford still feel like they're trying to suss this Leeds system out a little bit. I know Keith Andrews will have seen a lot of some of Daniel Farke's managerial games, because he was often on Sky Sports punditry for Daniel Farke's great job in the Championship with Norwich, so he will have seen a lot, but of course a very different system. Football's definitely evolved since then. But
yeah, and I mean, in terms of the tools that he had at his disposal at Norwich compared to what he's got here with Leeds, it is a different game, and that's why I did find it a little bit strange that there were a few pundits and indeed Leeds fans saying, "Oh, well, Farke's never done much in the Premier League with his previous club," but that's because his previous club didn't give him the chance to. They were just quite happy to be in the Premier League and see what happens with the money that they could save, really. But here come Leeds now with Okafor.
And Okafor, nice run from him. He's still going. Okafor, brilliant run across the face of goal. It's well saved by Kelleher. It looked like he was looking for the back post. It's a poor pass from Jensen in towards Anton Stack, who wins it back. Ampadu now on the right hand side for Stack. Okafor starting to cause all sorts of problems. I'm not sure if he's gone for goal or Kelleher's got a boot on the cross in the end, but once again Leeds getting in behind down that left hand side. Here's Strauch. He finds Goodmanson this time. He's got options in the box to aim for if he can get into a crossing position. Still going Goodmanson. It's a nice touch from him. Ball whipped into a good area. Okafor's on his toes too much. The header back in from Stack isn't a great one, but he's won it back, and now it's going to be Tanaka out towards Pascal Strauch, who's under no real pressure. Goodmanson, a nice spell of pressure this from Leeds, and then they're all the way back to their goalkeeper, but a good chance again from the visitors.
That was a good chance, and it just goes to show it doesn't take much to unsettle the Brentford defence, and there again it was down that left hand side. Okafor certainly looking the more dangerous of the two forwards for Leeds this afternoon so far. Certainly had the beating of Collins there. Maybe just tried to do a little bit too much. Could have perhaps played that ball square a couple of yards earlier before he got all the way to the line. But it's a good save with the feet there from Kelleher.
Yeah, I think that's better goalkeeping than a mistake on the Leeds attacks. And I think that's really good goalkeeping from Kelleher. He read the danger, knew to stick the boot out, because that was going to find Jaden Bogle for a tap in at the back post. But Leeds have to just use that as momentum and keep it in their stride. 3 shots for Leeds so far, 2 on target, just the 2 shots for Brentford, 0 on target. So not the most thrilling of attacking encounters so far, but it's a great tactical battle.
It is, it's an entertaining game to watch. It certainly is, because there's a pace to the game as well, and there's a foul there given against Goodmanson. He bumps into Dango Atara. There's not too much in that really, but Brentford will certainly take that, because there was just a nice little spell of possession building up for Leeds there.
Was. I'm not sure there was much of a foul in there either, but Leeds have won it back. I'm not sure what Brentford were doing in possession. And Okafor, terrible ball out to the right hand side towards Jaden Bogle. Hickey gets there, hoists it up. Didn't look like a great ball, turned into one, and then Lewis Potter's made an absolute mess of it. Brentford in possession at times have been really sloppy.
They have, yeah. It's almost like they've had too much of the ball, and that's why they're sort of being careless with it, where 2 or 3 times now they should have just been able to measure the pass and keep a bit of possession as it is, just give it away. I mean, that free kick there, when there was no foul on Ouattara, 2 passes after the free kick, they gave the ball away anyway.
Yeah, Lucas Perry's just gifted them back. I mean, his distribution this game has been terrible. As we now see Coyote coming forwards, he's done really well to wriggle past the initial challenge of Anton Stack, who's still trying to apply the pressure. This time Jensen turns away from Tanaka with a little bit of ease. There's a man goes down in the penalty area, and there's going to be a penalty for Brentford. Goodmanson can't believe the referee's decision in the end, and I'm not too sure. I had it on live viewing, I wasn't sure there was a lot of contact. Ouattara's gone down. I'm sure there'll be a real look at it from VAR. It just seemed like one of those tussles at the back post, but Brentford have been awarded a spot kick.
It is a penalty to Brentford. I mean, there doesn't seem to be too much in that. The question is going to be, will VAR look at this and say, is this enough to say it's a foul? I mean, he's got his arm across him, which is what will be against him, but then is that enough to say that, is that going to bring him down? I mean, I'm not even sure if there's any attempt to actually hold him or to pull him. His arm is literally across him, so in that sense it probably shouldn't be a penalty. If the referee didn't give a penalty, VAR would definitely not call him back and say you need to check that again. And I get a feeling that with VAR supposed to be a little bit more sort of savvy with these things, I get the feeling that they may still reverse this, because there is very, very little contact there.
Yeah, that's not a penalty. I mean, if you're giving a penalty for that, then there should be about 10 penalties a game. You see that sort of contact all the time. He's actually not extended his arm in terms of pulled him. If anything, he's just rested his arm on top of him, which is a normal thing to do.
It is. I mean, and obviously we know that in a normal situation, if you put your arm on a grown man like that, he's not suddenly going to fall forward, because there needs to be some sort of force for that to happen. Yes, he is. He's looking for the foul. I mean, there was a bit of a freeze frame there. I was just wondering whether they were thinking if there's an offside. There certainly isn't an offside when that ball is played into him. I suppose that the question is whether VAR will look at it and say that the arm across from Goodmanson has brought down Ouattara. I don't think it has. I mean, I think that the fact that VAR is taking this long tells me that the guys at Stockley Park have got their doubts as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's taking ages. They've looked at all sorts of angles. I think myself and Paul are in agreement. That's not a penalty. That's never a foul in the penalty area. And
well, it's one of those where if it happens for your team, you say, oh, well, I'll take that. But at the same time, if it happens against your team, you'd be fuming. And now it's what I was thinking before. So they've obviously decided it is a foul, because now they're just checking for a possible offside, which actually this might take even longer to work out as to whether it's an offside or not, because to me there's a player just in view that it's Igor Thiago who's just sort of obscuring the view of where Ouattara is. So it's a question as to whether Igor Thiago is involved in play. If the ball goes over his head, is he interfering? Is he obstructing? So after all of that, we still don't know what's going to happen here. Is it going to be a penalty or not?
Yeah, John Brooks.
Offside.
I think he's just said that there might be an offside. It might be the shoulder of Ouattara leaning forwards. He's not made the call as of yet, has John Brooks. Now he's blowing his whistle. He's making the VAR sign, and it's going to be no penalty for Brentford. I can't believe that offside is the reason. I mean, obviously that would be the reason, because he is offside. But the fact that they've cleared it as being a foul shocks me as well.
I'm surprised by that as well. I must admit that the right decision has come by in the end, because I don't think there was enough contact on Ouattara to say that it should be a penalty for the foul. But as I say, I'm surprised that it needed the get out clause of the offside, and it's literally like the top, like maybe 1/5 of Dango Ouattara's head is leaning into an offside position, and that's what stopped that penalty from being given, as opposed to the fact that basically Ouattara felt an arm on his back and then just fell over, which would have been fine for VAR. So it is a strange decision, I must admit.
Yeah, it really is a strange one, but Leeds have to use this as not a get out of jail free card, because it shouldn't have been a penalty. They just caught Brentford off guard with a quick free kick in behind. Okafor is in down the left up against Coyote. It's good defending from Coyote. He's sticking on him. Okafor's got to use his option. I don't think Goodmanson's helped him at all really there, but he's recovered it just about. Stack finds Ethan Ampadu, who finds Stack again, and here come Leeds on the attack. Great ball across the face of the goal, and it's evaded everybody. Bogle keeps it alive. Back in towards Okafor, who gets there, and he takes a terrible touch and puts it wide. It's a half-hearted appeal for a corner and kick. That's a great ball in
that ball from Stack is superb. Calvert-Lewin just a little bit behind play. Then Bogle's ball isn't much worse, to be fair to him, but at least Collins does what he can there to get into Calvert-Lewin's way, and that does enough just to make sure that the ball goes out for a goal kick in the end.
Yes, we now just see ball going in towards Kelleher. Clips it forwards. Now it's Bogle. He flicks it on towards Vandenberg. Thiago doesn't win his header up against Roden. Calvert-Lewin with a poor first touch as Brentford step in, and now they're in the middle of the park. Good challenge in from Tanaka. Tanaka, unbelievable in the 2 games against Liverpool and Chelsea, especially the Chelsea one. I mean, absolutely ran the show against Chelsea's midfield. Hasn't been able to get going, has he, in this one, in attacking or defensive sense? No,
he hasn't. But I think that from the way that this game's going so far, it just seems to me that Brentford are just sort of sleepwalking a little bit. They've got a lot of the ball and they're not doing enough with it. Leeds just seem to be ready for everything that Brentford have done, and it seems to me that when Leeds go forward, there is just a little bit more of an edge about their attackers. Coyote just trips and then falls with a little bit of a delay, but I don't think there's any issue with that. Goodmanson actually put his hand up to apologise for the foul. We've still got 5 minutes before we hit injury time.
Yeah, I can't imagine we're going to get a massive stoppage. Yes, the VAR check would be the only thing
pretty
that adds
much,
onto
yeah,
it.
Pretty much. So maybe 2 minutes.
Yeah, it's been a free-flowing game of football. Apart from that, ball towards the left-hand side for Lewis Potter. He finds Hickey, who turns away into Vandenberg now. He finds Collins. He's going to look towards the right-hand side. Not a great ball into Coyote, but he does retrieve it, does the Italian. Now it's back to Collins. Okafor's applying the press to Kelleher, who's going to boot it long up towards Thiago. Bishol's with every header at the moment, but he headers it off Igor Thiago's head, which keeps possession for Brentford. They've struggled to get the big Brazilian number 9 involved.
Not even got him involved at all. As I say, it's no point in having the player of the month in your team if you can't even get one pass to him. And we saw on 2 occasions Dango Otara's crosses getting nowhere near Igor Thiago. He was probably already rubbing his hands together when he realised there was going to be a penalty for Brentford, because that would have given him a chance to get on the score sheet. But as it is now, it's just not been a good attacking performance from Brentford. They look okay in possession and trying to move it around, but just not enough creativity in the final third. And again, a long ball to Dango Otara, but then given away by Strauch.
Terrible from Pascal Strauch, who's got absolute ball chasing, and now a chance for Lewis Potter, who goes for goal. Big save from Lucas Perry. Well, that was a shambles at the back from Pascal Strauch, who gave the ball away and just started sprinting for the ball. That seemed League 2-esque defending. I don't know what he was doing. Lucas Perry's made a massive save though, and now Brentford are back on the attack. Henderson, ball towards the back post. Joe Roden clears it. Not the best of clearances though from him. Thiago gets there, finds Hickey. It's all a bit of a mess from Leeds, who've got a bit panicky at the back over the last couple of moments. Here's Ouattara, step overs, plays it down the line for Jensen, who thought about going across the face of goal. He didn't. He finds Ouattara instead, who step overs away from Goodmanson. And now onto his right foot. Good defending from Goodmanson. It goes out of play for a goal kick. Really good defending. I mean, Strauch in that whole area, the pass was terrible, but I actually think the defending after it is just as bad, where he just goes chasing the lead position.
He just chases the ball rather than actually seeing what gap he's left by going into that midfield slot to give the ball away in the first place. And it's a decent, powerful strike there from Lewis Potter, but it was straight at the goalkeeper.
Yeah, big save in the end. Could have been better from Lewis Potter. He's never really been much of a goal scorer, has he? He's played wing back quite a lot in his time at Brentford. And Lucas Perry's goal kick, I mean, he's gone straight out of play. The guy's distribution this game has been slightly woeful, and is a big critic of his this season so far. And I mean, that goal kick went straight out for a throw-in, and some of the Leeds players just waved their arms about in frustration. But he never strikes me as the goalkeeper that lets that stuff sort of affect him. He always looks confident, does Lucas Perry. As we see Coyote, and I guess Leeds have.
Well, looking confident and being confident is, I mean, it's important in any walk of life, but in terms of a goalkeeper, because goalkeepers do make individual errors that cost their team. I'll break off from now because here come Leeds.
Calvert-Lewin on the left hand side. He hangs up a really good ball to the back post. Tanaka gets there. Okafor with a chance, and he's on full stretch. It's acrobatic from him in the end. He puts it over the bar, and it's a great ball from Calvert-Lewin, isn't it? Towards Tanaka. I think he's looking for Okafor. It's a difficult opportunity But I mean, he's nowhere near in the end.
Well, I mean, that's just a definite. I mean, Tanaka's just a midfielder wherever he is. I mean, even when he's at the edge of the 6-yard box, he's still trying to be a playmaker for his teammate. And that's actually a really good header. The only problem is, as you say, because it's coming down from such a height, Okafor's trying to catch it with, at full stretch. And even though he's only a few yards away, it's very difficult for him to keep that on target.
Yes, we now see Jaden Bogle turns away from his man. Ampadu plays it down the channel towards Calvert-Lewin. He's in battle with Vandenberg once again. It ricochets to Ampadu, finds Anton Stack. Got to get Stack involved more over this next couple of moments, because for about 25 minutes he was heavily involved and he was Leeds' best player. It's quieting down for him a little bit as we now see Bijol ball to the left hand side for Stack. 4.5 minutes on the clock, 0-0 the GTech between Brentford and Leeds as there's clearance from Collins straight out for a throw. Well, Leeds have been trying to operate a long throw in as of late with the likes of Ethan Ampadu. It isn't really much of a long throw, but they keep doing it.
Well, it's to say that not every team has to have the long, booming ball into the box. The idea is to have variations of what you can do from a throw-on. And of course, towels are not allowed officially unless both teams agree in advance that they don't mind having towels. That's the rule apparently. So with that, obviously Brentford would prefer to have towels, and I'm sure Leeds would prefer to have them as well. But we're into 3 minutes of added time at the end of this first half. Yeah,
let's see if Ampadu does have a long throw in today. He puts it in. It's decent. I wouldn't say better than being the first man.
It's not that far short of where Coyote would throw it. The difference is that it's probably just a bit of a floaty ball rather than a sort of direct throw that Coyote is able to get in.
Yeah, now Brentford are back on the ball. Hickey comes away with it on the left-hand side. As Paul just mentioned, 3 minutes of added time with 40 seconds into that as the ball's on the right-hand side. Coyote with Jensen. Well, I think in an attacking sense, I think it's fair to say Leeds have had the better moments in this first half. Brentford seem to be more composed at times. They seem to want that ball a little bit more, but I guess that's kind of the tactic Leeds are trying to deploy. They want to hit Brentford on the counter. They've done it a few times through Noah Okafor, but haven't been able to capitalise so far. Of course, Brentford were awarded a penalty moments ago as well, but that was overturned by VAR for an offside from Ouattara. We now see Hickey goes across to Jensen. Leeds sat very deep at the moment. Ball onto the right hand side for Collins, who's going to carry it forwards. Leeds are just letting them play here. They're so deep, their back five and the midfield. As now Coyote turns away from his man, finds Henderson. Ampadu's going out to John Henderson to watch him. That's going to be with Jensen once more, across for Vandenberg, who's got options to the right, uses the Danish midfielder and falls back to his goalkeeper. Just a bit flat at the moment.
Yeah, it's just a bit flat. I mean, Leeds are allowing Brentford to sort of have that freedom in their half, but then Brentford are doing nothing really to take advantage of it. It's just slow, steady possession, no real opportunity to get the ball in the box without trying to risk a cross, and then they just go back to the halfway line anyway. So I think both managers with plenty to think over the next 15 minutes at half time as to what they want to do, because I think both would say that their players can be doing a little bit more with what their opposition have presented so far.
Yes, Brentford still in possession. I don't think Leeds have had the ball in this added time period, just knocking it from left to right to left really at the Bees. Henderson looks to chip it beyond. Pascal Stratton gets there. His clearance is straight out for a throw-in though with 30 seconds remaining. Might be a bit too far back for Coyote to launch one in, and it is, so they've gone short. Henderson picks it up. He's going to go for a deep cross that's cleared by Strout, and now Goodmanson in possession. Won't want to give Brentford a cheap throw in here, and I think he has done, and it's poor from Goodmanson with 10 seconds remaining of the half. It's going to be a chance to launch it in.
Yep, Coyote can't take too long with limbering up for this throw, and he's also been told by the linesman he needs to be closer to that corner flag. So it'll be a throw going pretty much level with the 6-yard box. This will be the last chance of the first half.
Yeah, the 3 minutes are up and the throw-in has been put in. It's a bit of a scramble, big touch in there from Tanaka. Now it's Hickey towards the right hand side, poor ball, and that is going to be half-time at the GTech. Well, Okafor has forced a big save from Kelleher. Lewis Potter likewise from Lucas Perry, and VAR ruling out a penalty for Brentford going into the break. It's Brentford 0, Leeds United 0.